Welcome back to Explain the Charts, everyone. Today, August 11th, 2025, we're tackling one of the market's giants, Apple, ticker symbol Apple. Recent news has significantly impacted investor sentiment and could dictate AAPL's trajectory in the coming months. First, let's address the positive market sentiment that has propelled AAPL's stock higher. On August 8th, 2025, Apple closed at $229.35, marking a strong 4.24% increase for the day. This strong performance isn't isolated. Apple has risen by 8.77% over the past week and 9.46% in the last month. A major catalyst driving this optimism is Apple's intensified focus on artificial intelligence, or AI. Analysts from TipRanks believe Apple is a serious AI player, citing potential for significant advancements. There are reports of Apple actively testing new Siri features, aiming for enhanced voice control across applications, and plans to boost U.S. investment, potentially shielding the company from upcoming chip tariffs. Speaking of tariffs, a key development reported by Investors Business Daily is Apple dodging a tariff bullet. Apple surged after expectations grew that it would be exempt from U.S. tariffs, following its commitment of an additional $100 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing over 4 years. This news aligns with reports from Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing, Apple's chipmaker, whose July sales increased significantly year-over-year, partly due to production for Apple's upcoming iPhone 17 and continued demand for AI server chips. Analyst ratings remain largely positive, with a moderate buy consensus. Melius Research raised their price target to $260, while Wedbush Securities maintained a buy rating with a $270 target, highlighting the shift toward new products and systematic iPhone value increases. However, it's crucial to note a Motley Fool article from August 9, 2025, which pointed out a 15% decrease in Apple shares earlier in 2025, as of August 6, despite strong Q3 earnings. This indicates a period of underperformance compared to the broader market, which is important to remember amidst the current bullish run. Additionally, two significant uncertainties loom: a potential federal court ruling on Apple's lucrative deal making Google the default search engine on iPhones, and the company's currently invisible AI strategy. Now, let's transition to the charts and see how these news events are reflected in AAPL's price action. Looking at the daily chart, we can clearly see the broader upward trend established since April 2025, following a significant dip. That drop in early April saw Apple fall from above $175 down to around $165, which then acted as a strong support level. The subsequent rally has been quite impressive, marked by a series of higher lows and higher highs, indicating a healthy bullish trend. Notice the massive volume spikes in early June 2024, around the period of Apple's developer conference where AI initiatives were first hinted at, pushing the price from the mid-$190s to over $210. More recently, the surge in early August 2025, specifically the move from the low $200s to nearly $230 in just a few days, directly correlates with the positive news we just discussed regarding tariff exemptions and renewed AI optimism. The daily candle for August 8th, closing at $229.35, is a strong bullish candle, confirming the positive sentiment and significant buying pressure. This move also indicates that Apple has successfully retaken key moving averages, as mentioned in the news, likely the 50-day and 200-day simple moving averages, turning them into potential support levels. Let's zoom into the 1-hour chart to examine the more immediate price action. We can see the rapid ascent from August 6th onwards. The current price of $229.35 is testing recent highs, implying that it is encountering resistance, possibly from previous peak levels or profit-taking activities. The significant green candles show strong buying momentum, with consistent higher closes within the hourly periods. However, some hours show slightly decreased volume compared to the initial surge, suggesting that while the trend is strong, there might be some consolidation or slight deceleration in buying intensity. This chart provides a clear view of short-term support forming around the $220 to $225 zone, which acted as a resistance that was decisively broken through. Now, let's pinpoint the action on August 8th specifically by looking at the 15-minute chart. Filtering our view to this specific time frame, we can observe the incredible intraday strength that propelled Apple higher. Starting from around 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated on August 8th, the stock saw a dramatic increase in price and volume, breaking out from the $219 level. Each 15-minute candle during this period is predominantly green, with strong bodies and relatively small wicks, indicating sustained buying pressure and little seller intervention during this surge. The volume bars confirm this intense buying, with transaction counts peaking as the price broke past significant psychological barriers like $220 and $225. This strong breakout on high volume is a very bullish signal in technical analysis, suggesting conviction behind the move. This level of detail confirms that the positive news was met with immediate and substantial market reaction, driving the price upward with force. The resistance levels around $230 were tested and potentially breached in the after-hours trading, setting up the stage for further movement. So, what are the key price levels to watch for Apple? First, immediate support rests around the $220 to $225 range, which was a recent resistance turned support following the sharp breakout. A more significant, longer-term support level, based on previous consolidation, could be around the $210 to $212 zone. On the upside, the current analyst average price target is $234.93, indicating a modest potential increase from the current close. More bullish targets from individual analysts like Melius Research at $260 and Wedbush Securities at $270 suggest significant upside potential if the current momentum, driven by AI and tariff relief, continues. For short-term traders, continued bullish momentum might see Apple challenge the $230 psychological level more decisively. Long-term investors should consider the broader trend and the strategic shifts Apple is making with AI and U.S. investments. Reasons to be bullish include the strong momentum, the strategic push into AI, which could unlock new revenue streams and device upgrade cycles, and the resolution of tariff uncertainties. Furthermore, strong Q3 earnings and consistent dividend payments, like the 26 cents per share ex-dividend today, August 11, 2025, reinforce investor confidence. However, reasons to be bearish or cautious include the stock's underperformance year-to-date despite recent gains, the ongoing invisible AI strategy, which still needs to prove its tangible impact, and the looming federal court ruling concerning Google's search engine deal, which could pose a regulatory headwind. A short-term pullback to test the newly established support levels around $225 is certainly possible, especially if the current buying volume decelerates significantly. A break below $220 would signal weakness in the short term, potentially inviting further downside correction. Conversely, a decisive break and hold above $230 on high volume would reinforce the bullish outlook, targeting the next resistance at the analyst price targets. In recap, the critical price levels for Apple are the immediate support at $220 to $225, with more robust support around $210 to $212. On the resistance side, watch $230 as an immediate hurdle, followed by analyst targets of $234.93, $260, and $270. The likelihood of Apple continuing its upward trend is high in the short term, reinforced by strong momentum and positive news flow, especially if the broader market remains buoyant. For the medium to long term, the success of Apple's AI strategy and the outcome of the Google antitrust ruling will be paramount in determining if it can reach those higher analyst targets. Keep an eye on any further announcements regarding Apple Intelligence and the M4 chips, as these could provide fresh catalysts. Also, monitor the regulatory landscape for any developments on the Google deal. Finally, Always watch the volume. Sustained high volume on upward moves reinforces the trend, while declining volume on rallies or increasing volume on pullbacks could signal a shift. Thank you for joining us on Explain the Charts, and remember to always conduct your own research before making any investment decisions.